Here I have a very lovely book to show you. It's Watercolor Fashion Illustration, Step-by-Step Techniques for Illustrating Fashion and Figures in Watercolor. Now Francesco is a very talented young fashion illustrator from Italy. He's also worked in Paris and London. He often paints live at events, and he also teaches fashion life drawings, so he's very well qualified to teach you fashion illustration in watercolor. Now I find it really refreshing that this book has a lovely modern approach to fashion illustration, and it concentrates just on watercolor. It also has 20 tutorials. It starts with the basics and it works towards the more advanced techniques. So it's a book you need to start at the beginning and work your way through, because as you work through the different tutorials, you move from easy to intermediate to high. You're going to be learning all the time. Now, I pre-ordered this book in 2021 purely on the cover image. I just loved this image and I could see straight away this is a bright book. It's going to be really good quality because it's David and Charles, and I have other fashion books by David and Charles, and I know that they do fashion really, really well. So I knew it was going to be great, but I didn't know what the content was going to be like, but when it came, I just loved reading it so much. So we're going to have a look inside now. We have 144 beautiful pages, and these illustrations throughout are absolutely stunning. So I'll try and line this up so that we can see everything. So we have the contents, we have a foreword, the introduction, exploring watercolour, illustrating fashion, creating a character, poses, rendering fabrics and prints, the 20 tutorials, and then ready for business, so moving on. And throughout we have these absolutely beautiful illustrations. I love the style and the colours in this book. We have a foreword by Patrick Morgan, and then we have an introduction by the author, and a lovely bit here on actually using the book, and a brief history of fashion illustration. We move on to tools and materials, exploring watercolour, a photo of the artist, author and illustrator here, which is always nice to see the person who wrote the book. Mixing your paints, practice exercises, understanding lighting and shading, understanding colour. Look at these, so beautiful. Illustrating fashion, so this is a bit about working in the fashion industry. And then we come to a section on creating a character. Now this is very important, because if you don't have a person or a photo of a person in front of you, you might not know where to start. But we go through the different features in here and how to build your face, women's faces and men's faces, hair, and we move on to poses. Now instead of charts and graphs and things, we actually have illustrations to demonstrate the different poses, which is really nice. And some more examples here. And this section, rendering fabrics and prints, is obviously really important, because in fashion you are looking at the fabrics and the textures and the prints, and you need to know how to render them and make them look realistic. So we have everything in here, and we move on to these lovely tutorials. I'm going to start off with an easy level with a bag and move on to a shoe. Now we can see we have lots of illustrations and detailed text here, so that you can see exactly what you're going to be doing. We have a gown. Everything's very easy to understand and follow. Women's wear, men's wear, girl with a bag. The accessories are also important, and makeup. So we move on to intermediate level here. So your instructions get a little bit more detailed. Few more pictures to illustrate. have a hat. Beautiful print dress. Look at these colours here. A boy with a hat. And we've got some perfume, beauty, some sunglasses, beautiful colours in this book. I really love the colours. A print shirt. And then we move on to the high level with some vintage jewellery. Now jewellery again is very important in fashion, so something you really need to know how to illustrate jewellery. Menswear. So your instructions here, very detailed again. Step by step, lots of pictures. A catwalk moment. Look at that, close-up beauty. That's so beautiful. Women's wear. An editorial with a background. And ready for business. Now we've got some work on digital there and progressing, mixed media, working live, and developing your personal style, which is obviously very important. Got about the author here. So it's great to copy when you're learning from a book, but you really do need to develop your own style. Now, there's something about this book that I really think is important. Francesco has put his love and knowledge of watercolour and fashion illustration into this book, and that really shows throughout the pages. He's made fashion illustration available to the complete beginner, and he's going to guide you on your own personal fashion illustration journey. The basic skills that you learn in this book, they can be transferred to other subjects. It's the perfect book for anyone who loves fashion illustration and needs some help getting started. It's perfect for anyone preparing for college or hoping for a future career in fashion illustration. And it's perfect for anyone who wants to learn to paint but doesn't want to paint landscapes or still lifes. Paint fashion instead. So this is one of the books I really wish I'd had when I was young, when I was preparing for art college, when I was designing and making my own clothes. But I still love it today, and I think this is such a wonderful book for anyone starting out. So please take a look at Watercolour Fashion Illustration.